Hello YouTube, Feyrer here, and I'm in my basement today with no natural lighting, especially to tell you about lighting your scenes, in particular as it pertains to using an iPhone or a camera that's attached to your phone. Now, some people know that I use an iPhone to film, some people don't. I actually had a really nice compliment recently from a filmmaker that I really admire, who said he didn't realize I was using an iPhone, and I think a lot of that is dumb luck. But I am starting to figure it out. So let me show you what my setup is here. Now as you can see, I look kind of harsh. I'm very brightly lit. In a dark room like this, it's kind of an accomplishment to be able to even be lit like this, especially when you're using basic gear that you bought at the hardware store. So let me show you a little bit about how I have my gear set up. So over here, you can see I've got my key light. And this is the primary light that lights up the subject, whatever your subject happens to be. And it should be the brightest light in your scene. And then over here, you can see I have my backlight. Now what the backlight does is it removes the shadows from behind you as best as you possibly can. And it kind of brings you out and gives you depth from your background. And then above me here, I have the headlight. And what the headlight does is it illuminates the back of your head a little bit, but it kind of separates you from the background so that there's more dimension to your shot. And this is basically the standard lighting that's used in any filmmaking. But it's particularly important when you're filming with an iPhone in low light because the sensor is so small that it just doesn't illuminate a scene very well and you get lots of grainy footage. So this is the standard way to film any shot. But you can do a lot more with this. And not on the expensive either. Now both my headlight and my key light I purchased for $13 at Home Depot. And on the stand back there for my backlight, I'm just using a lamp I had around the house. So you can do this on the cheap and still make it look good. When I first started filming, I would have never ever thought in a million years that I could get the kind of shots I'm getting right now. And it's just a little bit of understanding of how lighting works that can bring some amazing opportunities for where you can film with your iPhone. You just have to be a little bit creative, but you do have to understand the basic concepts of how to light a shot. Let's say we wanted to add a little color, or we wanted to soften things up, or we wanted to go for a little more mood. Well, let me show you how to do that. So right here I have what can be used as gels. Now I purchased these are $5 a piece at any arts and crafts store locally. And you can see I've got like a gold one and a blue one and one that's going to give a little bit of a reddish tint. I have a clear one or a shiny one. And then I have a green one. And we're going to play around with these so I can show you the kind of results you're going to get. But we're going to start out with the clear so you can see how to soften your lighting so it doesn't look so harsh. Now this is just using a couple sheets of the clear gels to soften the lighting a little bit. And it makes a huge difference. It also makes it seem a lot easier to shoot in here because I don't have massively bright lights in my face. And this is lighting that you can easily set up if you have a little studio in your room or a place that you like to shoot. Most vloggers have an area of their house where they shoot on a regular basis. So a setup like this is really easy. You can set it and forget it. You go in your filming area, you turn on your surge suppressor, your light comes on, and you're ready to shoot. This is something you can really easily set up and make your shots look that much more professional. And you can do all kind of fun stuff with it. Let me show you. So before we get into different color gels and that sort of thing, let me show you the creative things that you can do with just this setup alone by removing or putting another light in or using a reflector. So this is what you get when you remove the backlight. A lot more shadow, a little more darkness to the background area. It makes for somewhat of an interesting shot. Let's try removing the key light and see what happens. So when we remove the key light, we just have the headlight here. There's no backlight and there's no key light, so we just get kind of a moody glow on me. And this can be interesting if you're going for that sort of look. It also gives kind of a halo effect that separates me from the background. It looks kind of interesting. Now with just a headlight, you can see my face is almost entirely in shadows. And this could be a look that you're going for. But as I'll show you here, you can also do some really interesting shots. If you're going for something of a close-up and you're just using a headlight like this, you can always use a reflector, which will add all kinds of color under here and really give you a kind of a dark, ominous look. It could be fun. And you can use a reflector with any shot. Let's say you only have two lights. You have a headlight and you have your key light. You can always put a reflector over here to simulate your backlight. Now generally, your key light and your backlight should be on opposite sides of your shot. Now this isn't always the case, but it's generally a good rule. And you can always use your key light with a reflector to create your backlight if you're in a pinch. Now this reflector is just a piece of cardboard that's white on one side that you can get at any craft store. And they're really cheap. It's a lot cheaper than if you go in and try to buy a reflector from a camera shop. Now granted, they may do a better job, but for $5, you can cut this into pieces and use it in all kinds of different situations. I've seen people set it on a table so that when they have their headlight, now my headlight's more behind me, so it doesn't throw off quite as much reflective light, but I could easily move the headlight a few feet or maybe even just 6 inches this way, and then just by putting this on my lap, it would light up the whole front of my face. So you can easily use reflectors to do all kinds of lighting jobs when you just don't have maybe one of those mini LEDs that you see a lot of people using. Hey, they still cost money. You could probably even use a flashlight for this, but you're going to get a lot more of a harsh lighting thing because they tend to be really direct and not very diffuse. Although you could also put some diffuse paper on them and try to lighten those up as well. So let's see what sort of effects we can get with different color gels. This is a product called Celebrate It, and it's just transparent wrapping paper, like the kind of stuff that you would see over baskets or what Easter baskets maybe. And it's about $5 at any craft store. We're going to try the red now. Now this is really cool. This is with the red gels on every light, and it really gives kind of like a rosy look to things, but you can almost see this sort of look in old school film noir or whatever. It's pretty cool. And it totally transforms the background, so it makes it look totally different just by adding a little bit of tint to the lights. It's really a neat effect. You can combine these colors as well. Let's say you wanted to do like an orange glow or an orange tint to your shot. You can combine the red with the yellow and make orange. You can also use two different color gels. Let's say you wanted to give the effect that somebody was in an area with a lot of different color lights, maybe Las Vegas or something. And the key light, maybe you wanted it red, but in the back, maybe you wanted more of an orange or a yellow color. You can easily change it up, mix and match, and see what kind of really cool effects you get. I think it's a lot of fun to work with this stuff, and you can do this in your studio just to add a mood to whatever you're talking about. You don't necessarily have to use it on location. In fact, I rarely shoot like on a location with actual lights. Occasionally I'll take a reflector card. If I can't get the shot I want, the reflector makes things a lot easier. But lighting outdoors, especially when you're just out filming a vlog entry, can be kind of tough. But when you have your studio set up and that's where you film every day, this sort of stuff you can do all the time, and it's fantastic. Now let's say that you decided that you wanted to do a short film or something like that. It's really good to have these techniques in your back pocket so that if you're going for a certain mood in a scene or something like that, well, you should definitely experiment with this sort of stuff so that you see the kind of looks you can get with it. And that way you know what works and what doesn't. Now that's it for today. Hopefully this will help you make better lighting decisions when you're filming with your iPhone. If you have any questions about anything I talked about today, please leave me a comment. I'll be sure to get right back to you. Also, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And if you have a moment, please subscribe to my channel. It'll help you find it again later. So I'll see you tomorrow and have a great day.
Hello, fellow YouTubers. If you like what you're seeing on my channel, please subscribe here. It goes a long way towards helping new viewers find my channel. Also, if you want to watch the last video I created, you can get that right here. And please leave me a comment. I love to interact with my viewers. Let me know how I'm doing.